I hope you all see my screen. My name is Daniel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I don't see that many Danes in the attendees, only a few, so I'm not spoiling all my secrets to them, but for sure I'm happy to share whatever I can here. It's a game that's ever evolving and changing all the time. Every year we get new plays. Every year we change it up. Game day to game day we change it up. So there's always lots of new things, and you think you have someone tricked, and then they have you tricked, and you counter trick them. So it's all part of the fun. If you have any questions along the way, just unmute yourself and ask, or pop in a question in the chat box. I'll be happy to answer them. We'll also have some time in the end if you have any other following questions. I'll be glad to talk more about it. Just a bit about myself. I have played and coached flag football for 15 years in Denmark. Started several clubs all over Denmark, wherever I have lived. I've competed on both beginners level and elite level. Recently, we won the Sport Monday Bowl 2017. I also was the MVP. We won the Big Bowl in 2018. And we have finished third in the Danish league the past 3 years. And the past 2 years, we lost the semi-final with 1 point in each of the games. It was very close. So we are up there competing with the best in Denmark, and the level is really high. So you really need to be creative also in your play calling. Even though I have really good receivers with me on my team, the other players are also just really good. Besides the playing and coaching, I've also been a referee for 15 years. I participated in 8 European and World Championships, where I've officiated, and in 7 of those, I officiated either the gold men's or the women's games as a referee. And in total, I've more than 300 games officiated combined. So I use some of my knowledge about the rules to adapt it also into the playmaking to see what's possible and what's not. What I will talk about today is some of the basics of play design. Should be not play design. I will go through some play selection by reading what kind of defense there is playing against. We will go through some plays against 2-2 or invert. We will go through some plays against man-to-man coverage. We will go through some 1-point extra plays, some formations in the end, Q rumble and MTQ, I call it. That is a bit special. So the basics of play design. It varies a lot. Which level are you playing at? You need to adjust your playbook to the level that you're playing at. If you're playing beginners level, you can do triple routes where you have a lot of different moves and a lot of different options. You go fly or comeback or an in, depending on what they're doing, the defense. So you have to keep it very simple and tell the receiver what to do. But when you're coming at elite level, you have more options where you can demand more of your receivers and making them run some option routes, or having them to adjust by themselves depending on the type of defense we're playing. So this has a huge influence on what kind of plays we are putting in the playbook. Then it's what type of players do you have available? What are their strengths? What are their you want to play them. So if you don't have so many fast guys on your team, then you might want to run a lot of crossing routes to try to get them open, so we're not covered in man-to-man. It could also be that we have a bunch of tall receivers, so maybe just put the ball up there and make them grab it. And it's also about who you're playing against. What are their strengths and weaknesses? Are the defense that you're playing against, is that 5 small guys and you have 1 big guy? Then just make a 10-yard hook, throw it up in the air, and then he picks it. every time. So that's what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and adjust the playbook to this. I have dealt a lot with this. I'm not the most athletic guy, or I don't have the best arm like some of my colleagues, Frederick and all the other good ones that are playing in Denmark. So we need to find some other strengths that we play against. I have two approaches to making plays. Either it's a reactive play or it's a proactive play. And by that I mean a reactive play is plays against a certain type of defensive play. So it's plays against 2-2, it's plays against man-to-man, it's plays against a robot. So whenever I know what the defense are playing, I can play one of my reactive plays to it. On the other hand, we have plays that are proactive, and that is plays that will make the defense play a certain type of defense. A good example of that is often if we put in a trip formation, then you would often see that the defense will switch over in something that looks like a 2-2 or an invert formation, because it's not easy to play a man-to-man coverage in a trip formation. The same goes for a bunch formation, where you have more people bunched up in the middle of the field. Then you will probably see the defense being in a zone coverage where they're spreading it out. And I just mentioned here at the end, the use of option routes is highly recommendable on elite level. When you're playing elite, you don't just have playbooks where it's a one route only. If you have a fly, then 9 out of 10 times you can also, instead of doing the go route or the fly route, you can come in a comeback route also. So that's just reading the defense and having some options in there. I think one of the biggest mistakes that most teams do all over Europe, all over the world, is actually that they pick an offense play by guessing what the defense are doing, and by not making an informed guess of what the defense are doing. It's often you see the offense, they are huddling up in a huddle, and then they say, we run this play here, then they line up, and then they run the play, which I think is a shame. I think you don't know what the defense are doing, but you have somewhat knowledge about it. You can get by doing some different things. So at the Copenhagen Towers, where I play now, we are always, for example, lining up at the line of scrimmage fast after each play is over. Then go to the line of scrimmage, all receivers are there, ready to run another play. If the referee blows the ready for play whistle, we can run as soon as he blows. All the offensive players, they have their own playbook, wrist coach on their arm, so it's very easy to communicate to everybody what to do. But when you're on the line of scrimmage, you observe the defense. What do they say? What do they do? What kind of signals do they use? If you hear they're calling a rain, then okay, they call a rain. We run a play, and then we evaluate afterwards. Okay, what did it mean that they say rain? They ran a 2-2, for example, and say, okay, if they say rain again, we know it's a 2-2 play that they're going to run. So then, if we hear this word again, we will then go and have a reactive play against a 2-2 defense. So what I'm looking at when the defense lines up before each play, pre-snap, I look at the positions of the safeties and the cornerbacks. How deep are they? Are they more than 7 yards away? Do they have a possibility to blitz? Or are they lined up very closely? The closer they're lined up, the more likely they are in a man-to-man. The further away, the more likely it is that it is a zone. How are they standing? Are they standing all lateral? Or are they standing a bit cornerbacks closer to the line of scrimmage, safeties more behind? Are the safeties so far behind that they can only cover the deep zones, so it's definitely a 2-2 or something like this. So this is always good to have an indication on. Also, where the blitzer comes from, does he come from the strong side or from the weak side? What is his task maybe in this one here? Does he come straight forward? So he just want to cover the middle of the field, which might indicate that they're running a play design where they don't cover the middle of the field. So here you have maybe a chance to throw something in there. Looking at the cornerbacks also, are they lined up inside of the wide receivers, or are they lined on them or on the outside? If they're lined up on the inside, there is more likely that it's either a man-to-man coverage or they have a short zone in there. But if they're lined on the outside of the wide receivers, then it might be likely that they're going in a kind of invert position, where they are ready to backpedal deep and have a good view of the whole play coming at them. So after lining up and assessing, then I use motions, I use shifts. It is very often that I take my slot receiver and put him on the other side of the formation, just to see what the defense are doing. Are the safeties switching place? Which means that they might have a strong side safety, a weak side safety all the time, or do they just keep the same position and doesn't really care about this change? It can tell me also something about if it's a man-man or if it's a zone coverage. Also, like, look at how they're shifting. If they're standing right on front of each other, on top of each other, and when you're moving the player, is the defense following him all the way to the other side? A good indication of a man-to-man coverage. It's also worth looking at the blitz. Does he suddenly also switch sides where he's blitzing from? Is it always from the strong side that he's blitzing, or is he still part of the same the position? You could think that if it's always coming from the strong side, it's because he wants to maybe take some of the short yardage away over there in the strong side, or they might not have so many defenders going in that side, so they want some extra help from the blitzer blocking that space, which might be indication of a 2-2 or an invert in that side. Also, it's very nice to look at the cornerbacks, because the cornerbacks, it's a huge difference for them if you're suddenly a cornerback in a weak side and to becoming cornerback in the strong side. If you are running a play where it's we have some of the very common ones is a rubber play where you have in the rubber. I'll just draw it just a little bit for you, so we're all on the same page here. Down here in the right box, I have this is the one corner in the weak side, a corner in the strong side. We have a safety here in the middle and safety here, and then we have a blitz. Let's see here. Yeah, lined up. If we suddenly switch a receiver coming from here, but then doing going over here instead, does the cornerback, you can see my mouse, right? Does the cornerback over here, does he trail back? Does he stay in the same position, or does he scoot a little bit more inside? Depending on what he does. On a what is it? The rubber defense is that the free safety. So if we have two receivers over here, we have one receiver here, and we have let's say the center here. Oh, that's a hard. The center here. What they would do, let's see here. The free safety would go up and take some kind of zone coverage here in the middle, while there's a man-to-man coverage on the weak side, and on the strong side in a rubber, it's basically a 2-2. So you have two zones, the one cornerback having this little one and the other safety having the deep zone. So that is a rubber play. And if we are suddenly switching a guy from this strong side here and motioning him over in the other side, then everybody on the defense has to change their assignment. So before this guy over here in the weak side now, cornerback, he might want to go further back now because he's in a man-to-man coverage, and before he was just covering the short zone. So here you can get a tell on what it might be doing. If they are not doing anything, it's probably the same kind of play in both sides, and it's like a mirror. And it's either 2-2 in both sides, or an invert in both sides, or they're holding onto a man-to-man coverage in both sides. So that is yeah, the rubber and how you can assess a bit on this. So I use motions and shifts on 70 to 80% of all my plays, just to get an indication on this. And I just want to shortly brief what do I look at after the snap. Right when the snap has gone, then I look at the free safety. Is he starting to backpedal? Is he staying or going forward? If he's going back, then I'm quite sure it's he has the deep zone in there, and it's cover 2, because if the weak side safety has a deep zone, the strong side safety probably also has a deep zone. If he's staying or going forward, it's more likely this rubber or a man-to-man coverage, or maybe even a cover 3 or something like this. If the free safety is staying or going forward, then my next look is the weak side cornerback. I just look at his hips. Are they turned or are they not? If they're turned, it means that he has started going fast backwards, and that indicates that he has the deep zone behind the deepest zone. And then they're playing an invert type of style, because I don't think they would be that afraid of a man-to-man. If his hips are not turned and he's just backpedaling, then it's a sign that he's either a man-to-man coverage, or it's still just having the flat zone there. So knowing defensive plays is very important in offense when creating plays as well. Yes. So I'll just want to show you some plays that I have. This is against a 2-2 or an invert. And the first play I have over here in blue is a trips to the left. And what you want to do and take advantage of if a defense is playing 2-2 or invert is that you want to either overload a zone, or you want to empty one of the zones, leaving one of the players on defense to be covering grass. And in a trips, as I mentioned in the beginning, it's very likely that defenses will be in a cover 2 or an invert situation, where the weak side cornerback, he would have the first thing that comes out in his side. The weak side safety will have what comes in the deep area there. The strong side safety would have what comes over top, and the cornerback would have something short, because in the trips, most likely something's going to be short. So here we have it. So this play here is 3 short ones and 1 deep, which then works very well against the 2-2. The best read is between the outside receiver and the middle receiver here, making the hook, because here we have a cornerback or the safety coming up if it's an invert, having to choose between one of these two here. Who am I going to cover? I can only cover one of these. So there you have often an easy read on that. If they suddenly throw in this rubber play that we talked about, where the weak side safety, he comes crawling up into the middle, and he just comes in. Then we have this option route on the slot receiver, or he can go a post, he can go a corner. So if the slot receiver, he sees that the free safety is coming up or standing still, then he goes for the post route and gets a very good leverage on the strong side safety. I have one video to show you of this one here. Can you see my screen?
Not the video.
No, I'm afraid no video.
No, I'll just let me see here.
You need to get out the presentation, probably.
Yeah,
Yes, there is a video now.
Perfect.
Yeah, video now. Perfect. So this is a play where the trips formation over here. You see they are lining up. They are actually quite, the safeties are quite coming up close. We see the cornerback over here and cornerback there, safety here. We have a blitzer that's right in the middle of the field, indicating again to us that the blitzer is not trying to come from the side and trying to close off one of the routes over here, but the blitzer might want to close the middle of the field, indicating again it's a 2-2 or an invert. Someone is going to run the play, and you see quickly here that we got into an invert situation where the safety stayed up, and taking it a little bit back. The ball is already thrown here because the quarterback can see that this guy coming in, he's wide open and can get some good yards. This safety, strong safety here, is coming down and pushing up on him. We also noticed the slot receiver here. He's taking the post route because he saw that the safety was coming up and trailing up. So he thought, okay, if this is a rubber play, I'm going to be wide open. But in this case, yes, it's invert. It's a good tackle by the defense, but it's very easy, 5 yards. Yeah, I'm going back to my presentation here. And this play here is really well against on a first down there. You just want to throw it off quickly. Very nice to get started and to move the changes, and also with the option of just going all the way in the first round. The next play over here is really one of my favorite plays. We have run it so many times against the 2-2 and scored many touchdowns. And this one here is takes some work by the quarterback as well, because when we're playing against some of the good defenses, the defense players are looking the eyes of the quarterback, and they really want to play the ball, and they want to get the pick six, and that is what we're really exploiting in this one here. We have at the start of the play coming in a flat, very short slant by the wide receiver, and the quarterback instantly pump fakes over to this player that's coming in, just to make everybody aware that that this guy here is coming in across the whole formation. So then this weak side cornerback, he also knows, okay, there's one guy coming over. But just pump fakes quickly to the wide receiver coming in, and then the quarterback looks to the center and just quickly pump fakes to the center as well in this out here. And then the quarterback gets his eyes back to the receiver that is now around the midfield, coming in there and following him a little bit with the eyes, which really makes the cornerback in the weak side, he really bites it. And he really thinks, oh shit, he didn't want to throw it to the center, but he's going to throw it to that cross that I had seen coming all the way. So that cornerback just wants to go in and make the pick six. But then in the last second, the quarterback then just throws the deep ball to the center, who's upfield. The responsibilities of the wide out receiver here is just really to run the safety off, just get us as far away from the play as possible, so the out and up route really gets open. I see Mats also wrote here that in big ball we use this play, and yes, we did use this play 2 or 3 times during the final, and scored I think 2 times on it. So it's really one of the go-to plays. The slot receiver over here has the option of just making a fly or a comeback. It's very rare that this guy gets the ball, but if they're running suddenly a man-to-man coverage, it might be the fly or the comeback that gets open here. I want to show you this one of the clips on this one here. Let's see here. So here we are also near the goal line, and we see one safety coming up here, quite close. We have a cornerback over here that is actually very tied up with the man, so it might even be a man-to-man coverage over here. But we see and read that this is going to be an invert or a 2-2 play. I'm just going to run it on speed and then slow it up afterwards. Pump fake, and got back and deep. Yes, and touchdown. Let's see that. Oh, I'm just going to do. So again, a bit slow. Pump fake out to the first one. Everybody's aware that this is going to just fly in across the side. We see the corners. They are his hips are open. He want to get deep, and he's running with the guy. Over here, pump fakes to the other guy, and the cornerback, or the free safety in this case here, sees that okay, he's not going to get the ball, and looking back, then this free safety really thinks, oh shit, I got it now. I got the pick 6. So you see he's really stepping into it, and then he's just bull rushing forward, and then it's where the quarterback has to get it out last second, just throw it deep to the guy that's wide open in the end zone, and a touchdown. So this requires some practice for the QB to read, make all the pump fakes, and make it look as realistic as possible. But then you got a TD there. Yeah. Next up, let's see here. I have some plays against the man-man. And the first play is also good against a 2-2 or an invert. It's a little bit similar to the over and under tickets that you have, but it's a little bit more evolved because we have some more options on it. It's really good against the man-man, as we have a lot of crossing routes coming in. That's also the thing again, man-to-man routes. If you want to be successful in that, you either have to run some crossing routes, or you have to do some double cuts, triple cuts, if your receivers are not better in pure athletic speed and skills than the opponent. If your players are the better in the athlete, then you can run whatever in man-to-man and just beat him straight up. But it's good to have some plays that works against some good players when they're covering man-to-man. So the first one over here, we have the outside receiver coming underneath everything. We really need him to be shallow and to be coming close to the line of scrimmage. And number 1 and number 2 and number 4, they're all going crossing in the first instance. The center is finding the space outside by the sideline, just sitting in a hook over there. The number 4 is finding the space in the middle, hooking in there, and then number 3 has the other side. Number 3 receiver does not look at the quarterback until he or she gets on the other side of the center, because there's no need that it will not be given to number 3 before that. Number 3 just needs to make sure that he avoids all traffic and gets cleanly through on the other side. The addition to this play compared to the over and under that you had before is that you have number 2 here who's suddenly running after the slant up and then either corner to either of the sides. And this is a really good route if they are suddenly going in a zone all of a sudden, and one of the safeties are dropping down to take the third man. So they suddenly have if it's a 3-1 cover and they are really aggressive, then number 2 can really find some open space in some of these. Yeah, I will show you this one here. Let me see. We have here against the armadillos. I'll put it in. You can all see it, right? And these guys here, they're really fast. I think there's not one of our players who can outrun any of those red ones there. So they have been going a lot of man-to-man coverage on us throughout this day. Even though it doesn't really look like that, you see the very deep safeties and so on. But we think, oh, they are coming in a man-to-man. So I'm just gonna run the play now. Yes, and as you saw,
Daniel, can you slow it down a little bit again?
Yes, I will. You see here, we're running off, and let me see here. Whoop. There's a good swap over here. They have a good distance, everybody, so there's plenty of space right now to get between. You could have this receiver out here, our receiver, coming a little bit more underneath, so he didn't need to run cross there. But you see, everybody is following man to man. Even over here, these 2 defenders in the weak side, they're not shifting up their assignments. They are following, and the cornerback on the outside really needs to get around the free safety coming up. So that's why he gets so open. Unfortunately, the free safety is so fast also that he can catch him up afterwards. If he's just a little bit slower, then it might be that he cannot catch him, and we got a wide open touchdown. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up here, play that I have is a lot of different things. We both have the crossing routes here from the middle, and we have a lot of double moves here. We have a post corner. We have hook and go and stop, which is a really awesome route, I think. Especially because we haven't seen it that much. It's when you're doing a hook, you're doing a hook, or you can do a hook and go, and that's basically it. That has been in many years. But adding another hook to it makes it really nice, because the defender, he thinks, okay, oh, that was a shitty hook and go. I really have him deep now, so I'm just gonna backpedal deep and take away the deep area. Maybe have the chance to intercept it because I know what he's running, and then suddenly a hook comes more. So that is a really nice route. And here we have some crossing routes coming out. So if they're doing a man-to-man, they need to be aligned in all the changes that they make, and hopefully they will screw up in some way or the other, make a mistake. I will show you a video of this play here. It's not so complicated either, because it's more of you just run the routes that you are supposed to do, and then hopefully you get open. I have it here. It's a bit far down the field. Sorry about that. But you have here. Let me see. 620. Yeah. So we have it lined up. Yeah, I'm just going to run it once, and then I'm going to run it slow. Yeah, there you go. So what we're reading here is that they have also been going a lot of man-to-man coverages with us. And first, when we see here, doing the pump fake to the hook and go, really to set it up, it's quite important also. That sells the hook and go much more. So I make a pump fake first and ready to throw deep. Take a look to the left also, just to see if there's anything open and available over here. But they're making nice changes, switching up. So it's not easy to find the open man over there. Also looking left, because I saw the blitzer was coming from the right side, and I really wanted him to get more to the left side, so it would be easier to throw the comeback over to the right. When his hips are turned again, and he thinks he got it over here, the weak side cornerback, then he breaks down and hooks it in the comeback, and I throw it over there a little bit too short, but he catches it and then gets these 12 yards, which is more than enough in a play. Yeah, you get it one last time because I like it. Yes, perfect. Yeah, the last play against a man-to-man coverage is also one that works very well in the end zone near the goal line. Here I have both some crossing routes coming in. Slot receiver is just going over on top of the outside cornerback, just getting on top there, and the outside receiver is just getting underneath it all. And when the receiver hits around the middle or about over the middle, he has to just run parallel with on the line of scrimmage. So if he catches it, he's inside. We have the center running a hook, is creating some traffic in there as well, and we have the outside receiver to the left, just running a deep route, sucking away this defender over here. This is a really good route if you have a fast guy, then outrunning players in a man-to-man coverage sideways is really effective when you have a lot of traffic coming all the way. So I'll just want to show you this one here as well. Here we go. So we are at the end zone. What I read here on this play also is that you have the linebackers here. They're standing a bit inside of the slot receiver. So I know he's going to be wide open if it's just a man-to-man and they are swapping around. And the outside receiver over here, he will be, yeah, he has a good lane to run as well. The outside cornerbacks, they're looking inside. This could look like a bit like maybe they're in a zone type of coverage here, because they're looking in and seeing what's coming, not looking like it's just a typical man-to-man coverage. So that's also why this play works quite well, because it works both with a zone and a man-to-man. So it's a safe bet to have. I'll just run it. Yeah, and I'll take it slow here. So what you can see when the play starts, here, when they are exchanging over here, the slot receiver and wide receiver, the linebacker and the cornerback is actually swapping assignments. So they're taking over each other. But again, it's very difficult for the linebacker to catch a receiver in full speed coming in across, especially when there's still a hook in here with some traffic. So we see he's being blocked there, and he's on the back foot of it. The only thing here on this play is that outside cornerback in the weak side is standing in the zone, but because our receiver over there ran so deep, then he cannot make it to get up on the receiver on time. And when the receiver catches the ball, he's in the end zone, and there's an extra point or touchdown already there. So I just want to show you also once again, because it's a zone play, then already here also you can see that the outside cornerback in the weak side. He's letting go of the receiver. So here you could also, as a quarterback, just throw it deep down in the end zone to the deep man, and you also have a good one there. He calls for it as well. So you have the both options. Yeah. One point plays in extra point kind of situation. And here, my basic assumption is that most defenses either line up in a zone, having 4 zones across, or having a man-to-man coverage at the extra point. I don't have any videos on these plays here, but it is the first one over here is designed with these 2 receivers in the strong side, having some options to run here. It's demonstrated then that here in the picture that the outside receiver is standing further back than the inside receiver, but that doesn't need to be the case in real life. They can be same level, but it's just important when they're running that the inside receiver is running first and the outside receiver is trailing a little bit, because the outside receiver has to read on what the inside receiver is doing. So most defenses in this situation here, they would do a zone coverage. They would have 2 cornerbacks in each side. There would be one here and one over here, lined up and saying, okay, the outside cornerback has the one coming outside, and the inside cornerback has the one coming inside. The thing is that this inside wide receiver is just running straight, and he's just running straight until one of the cornerbacks stops up. If we have the inside cornerback stopping up, it means that the inside cornerback, he has chosen now, okay, I'm going to take the outside cornerback, while the other outside cornerback, he has to follow the inside receiver. So when this is the case, then the inside receiver will make an in, because then there is a hole that will get wide open here behind the inside cornerback. That will open up here. And also the outside receiver, he will run the out route and have the possibility to get the ball over here. When you have this play, you have this leverage on the defensive guys, so you have a good option, an opportunity to throw the ball no matter which one gets it. If it's the other way around, where you have let's see here, you have the inside receiver is going up and following the inside cornerback is following the inside receiver, then the inside receiver will run the out route, and the outside receiver will then run the in route. And this is a very easy pass, just to put it right here in the front. The outside receiver always makes the cut on the goal line. Outside receiver never needs to run deeper into the end zone. This also means that both the cornerbacks, they are going deep, and because they don't know which covers who, because the inside receiver is just running straight and straight and straight, and the inside receiver is just running straight until one of the guys stops. So if none of them stops, then the inside receiver will run a fly in theory. But that means that the outside receiver, when he reaches the goal line and there's no one that covers him, he just makes a hook or just the quicken and just gets the ball there, and that's the easiest extra point you can ever get. So that is the basic idea of this here. It really needs to be well trained, well executed, and well timed, because it's really a timing route. You cannot run too much in or too much out. You don't have a great window to throw, long window, but it is there when you do it. If you don't want to go over here, then the other read is over on the other side, where the center has an in-out route, and the outside receiver has a post out, or it could be an in-out or something, a double route there, because then it will be a man-to-man coverage over there. Yeah. I don't have a video of this, but it's it has worked quite well as well. The other play that I have is against mostly 4 zones across. It could also work against a man-to-man where we have the weak side cornerback just being one-on-one against the outside receiver over here, and the outside receiver has a quick in-out route. That is always a dangerous one in the red zone. But the idea of this one here is that we have the center going just in a slant out in the strong side. We have the slot route just making a hook, finding the space in there, turning inside, like faking a little bit in. So the 2 cornerbacks, the linebackers that are standing in here, they would think that, okay, are we going to swap? But then he's hooking, and then this weak side linebacker, he might not make it all the way into the hook. Also, the blitz would most often come from the strong side, like over here, or just straight on. This means that the linebacker in the weak side, he cannot just step to the strong side the first 2 steps because he has to wait for the blitz to get past. So this delay really creates some space for the center and the slot receiver to have a 1 versus 2 against this cornerback over here. Because if the cornerback, or the linebacker in the strong side, if he just flies out together to get the center, then the slot receiver just really quickly hooks in and maybe goes a little bit outside just to get the space, and the quarterback can throw there. We have the outside wide receiver just going deep, having to take him out. The last cornerback over here, who would usually follow them in a man-to-man all the way deep. But if they don't do, and if they really keep 4 flat zones across the formation, then the outside receiver will just get open in the back of the end zone. And this is a stick out route, a knockout route, we call it, where he can choose to run a deep in or a little in and just put himself in the corner all the way down in the end zone. If the strong side cornerback just stays and takes the slant route, then there's good space down here. And I have a video of this play here. It's a bit bad, but you'll get to see that anyway. Bad quality video from there. Here you see, it's not easy to see, but you have very likely man-to-man coverage over on the weak side. You have the weak side safety here. You have the blitz coming in the middle. You have the linebacker over here, and you can see the last receiver out to the left and the cornerback over there. I'm just going to run it and then slow it down afterwards. Yeah, very easy. You see the confusion here that creates in the middle when it's snapped and he starts to run. The center starts to run. The free safety has to wait just a split second to let the blitz come by. You see the slot receiver has actually taken an outside stance of the linebacker. So the linebacker covers the inside of the receiver, which makes it really difficult for the linebacker to actually get out to the flat. And that is then what we're reading. We have you see the linebacker is trailing even behind the slot receiver, and a wide open center is coming here because the outside corner, he just followed man-to-man coverage all the way down. And then they're standing there and looking. Yeah. You just get it one last time. So these are more of the reactive plays. Now it's quickly, I'll go through some of these Q rumble formations that are a proactive play. This is very similar to the one we had before, so Tippets, that you had a QB snap. This formation here works very well in the lower leagues, where you have a a mobile quarterback. If he can run as well, it's very nice. It's also if defenses never have seen this before, then it's also very nice to do. And I'll show you some videos of this where the defense hasn't seen this before and they got really surprised. So they have to agree on what are we going to do, how are we going to cover this. And when the defense hasn't seen it before, we have the advantage as offense because we know what the defense is going to do at a first time. What would we do against this defense? We would do either put a man close to the line of scrimmage, or we would put 2 blitzers, or we know what's going on. So offense really has the advantage in this one here when we are designing more what new plays or new formations that defense hasn't seen before. So here both the quarterback and the the Y here, the running back, can get the ball from the center. The quarterback can give the ball to the running back, and the running back just run with it, or the quarterback can keep the ball, make it a fake. It can go to the running back gives it to the quarterback, and quarterback can then run and pass. This first play here is very simple, just the crossing routes. So we have a play going one direction, players going the other direction, and it creates some confusion. And I'll just show you the play here, where it's nice demonstrated. So here we have the 6 yard to goal. We have the running back on it. We are reading the defense here, that we see the guy they have put right up to the line of scrimmage, saying, okay, what's going on here? This guy here probably has the running back, because he can't blitz the quarterback if it's just a pass. And the blitzer here, he has the quarterback, I would assume. And then we have some guys over here, maybe in a man-to-man coverage. The rest of them, I'll just let it play, and then I'll go it slow afterwards. I'll just also say that the snap will be to the running back, and that will hand it off to the quarterback. Yeah. And what you saw here was a complete lack of defense. They're not on the same page. When the play is running, we have both blitz and we have the guy at the line of scrimmage going after the blitz, the running back. They all think they have even the linebacker over here. He thinks the running back has the ball and he thinks he's going to run, so he stays in the zone. That means three guys on one. That means that there are a lot of open space, and the quarterback just chooses to, I'm just going to run it in, and we got a touchdown. So that's the one way. The defense has never seen it before, and they don't know what to do. They mess it up, make a play. I just going to throw the next play here. Is the exact same play that we're running, but the defense now. Okay, we saw what was going to happen now, so we should know what's up. So they are. It's the same play that we're running, giving the ball to the running back. Running back gives it to the quarterback. But now what we're going to see is that the blitz and the linebacker here, they know who to cover. Yeah. There you go, nice and easy. So we saw the linebacker and blitz. You see here, they're very nice. Okay, blitz goes on this guy here. Linebacker goes on the quarterback. Then quarterback knows, okay, I have 3 in routes, slants very quickly. So I'll just dump it off very quickly because they have adjusted. And that's what they do, 5 yards, no problem. Now we know this. Next play is also against the same team in the same game. But now I'm going to share my play here again, because then we're running a different play. Now we know, okay, we know when we give the ball to the running back, gives it to the quarterback, then we know that the blitz is going to go on the running back and the linebacker is going to go on the quarterback. So that way we will have the running back, instead of going the wheel route, we're just having to go right up the middle because that's going to be really difficult for the blitz to cover what's going on now. We have some other routes. Could be a lot of different things. So let's just see this one here. You see, this guy here is even the linebacker in the strong side is even talking. Remember to do this and this and this. So they are maybe not quite sure what to do still, and there's still a lot of confusion. Whoop. Yeah. I'll just play it again. So what we saw here was that not this time the running back didn't get the ball, but the quarterback actually got the ball and faked the handoff, which means that this linebacker here actually has to get the running back in a man-to-man coverage, and he's in a quite bad spot to cover him because he knows he's been running out in a wheel route so many times. So he's just starting to run across to get him, completely forgetting that the blitz coming, and the blitz just bangs into him, which is unfortunately not so nice. But that's happened. No one got injured, and you see the linebacker is just trailing him, and he doesn't know where he's going, and yeah, all around. So that was a nice one there, and they can't tackle, so we go all the way to touchdown. You see the quarterback is complaining because he actually just needed to get the first down and we won the game. But we won it anyway. Yeah. So that is the Q rumble here. And it works very well when you have the mobile quarterback that can also run the ball. Yeah. The next formation that I want to show you quickly then is the MTQ formation. In this one here is you don't have any quarterback in a shotgun or under center. Number 5 is the normal quarterback that's usually playing. That's now playing center, and this can really be disturbing to many defenses. What is going on here? This works only if you have 2 quarterbacks that can throw the ball. So I have my number 2 player, who's also a quarterback and can throw the ball. So the first read of this one here is the defensive cornerback over on the weak side on number 2. Is he more than 7 yards away or less than 7 yards away from line of scrimmage? If he's less than 7 yards away from scrimmage, then he cannot blitz number 2. So then we will run the play over to the right, just snapping from number 5 directly to number 2. And then the cornerback in the weak side, he doesn't know what he's going to do. He was usually a man-to-man, but now he can't do anything. And then we have an overload of people in the other side. We also have many plays where we have number 5, the other quarterback, instead of running an out and up, we run an out and back, and being in the backfield, ready to throw back to him if necessary. But we have overloaded zone, so it's just for number 2 to find the open man over here. If the cornerback is more than 7 yards away, then we would go to the left play over here, where number 5 snaps to number 1 and then gets it back in a backward handoff or a little pitch very fast. So now number 5 is the quarterback and the running back. He can run with the ball, he can pass the ball. The first read is the blitz. Is he coming for number 1 or is he coming for number 5? If he's coming for number 5, then number 1 might be a very open later stage. But then we also look at the cornerback here in the strong side. Is the cornerback just rushing up to the number 5? If he is, then number 3 is just going to take a quick out, and the quarterback is just going to dump the ball over the head of the cornerback to the number 3 and then run upfield. If the cornerback is staying in his zone and awaiting it, then number 3 is instead running a post route, leaving the space empty for the cornerback in the strong side. He has no one to cover them because number 2, he is running either the deep in route, if it's a man-to-man coverage over here, or if it's a zone coverage that he's doing, then he's stopping and hooking in the middle of the field and not getting all the way to the zone over here, but having a zone in the middle. So quarterback can see if it's a If it's a zone, then we have 2D. Is there the safety over here? The weak side safety, has he come down to number 1, or has he backpedaled backwards to number 3? And yeah, if he had backpedaled backwards, then we have number 1 or number 2 that is going to be wide open, only going to be covered by this short zone over here that has followed along inside or being more outside. So this is a really trickery formation, the MTQ, and you can throw a lot of fun stuff in there if you have 2 QBs that can throw the ball. I think that was it from my side. If you have any questions, then please fire away. I hope you learned something here and got some inspiration for sure.